early stages of our life. A lot of that is influenced by our mother because it passes through in our early imprint. But this universe of the flora, before it was kind of like an afterthought, and now it's become one of the most exciting fields in biology and in science. The exploration of the deep impact and the deep interrelationship that we have with our flora. In what pertains to our class today is that influence reaches to the very aspects of our self-identity. Like we all recognize ourselves as with certain traits in our personality, in who we are, right? And many of those traits we assume that what is our nature, or perhaps is a genetic aspect of who we are, or it's an imprint from our parents. But we are finding now that, and we don't know the reach, but for sure, there is an absolute relationship to those traits and our flora. So our flora modulates how neurotransmitters are formed, matured, and transmitted in our system. And in particular, there's this two-way bridge pathway between the gut and the brain. So we have flora in a variety of different organ tissues in parts of our body, but our main hub is in the gut. And the gut's flora, there is research that shows that the gut's flora influences all kinds of emotional, psychological, and neurobiological states. The gut flora communicates and influences our brains through a variety of pathways. The nervous system of the gut, the spinal cord, and the central nervous system. It secretes neurotransmitters or helps to mature neurotransmitters that affect the brain. It affects the inflammatory pathways and endocrine pathways that affect the brain that way, and through the vagus nerve as well. So there's a lot of different avenues in which the flora, the bacteria in us, changes our brain. And changes and alterations in the flora are seen to change the personality. They affect depression, schizophrenia, autism disorders, and it's the microbiome, more than our genetic code in some cases, is at the foundation of who we feel we are. It's a very exciting thing. Now, humbling too, because we are ourselves a community. If we look at the impact of our flora at the deepest levels of who we think we are, we come to see that who we are is not just a very fluid state of information flowing, but also exchanged with all this universe of tiny microorganisms that live with us, and then we have developed in a symbiotic, intrinsic link to them. So let's just go through some of the basic things to help the brain. So we've worked with perception, we've worked with awareness, we've worked with the understanding of the basic function and structure of our brains, and we can also help it tremendously with how we eat, because the building blocks are in our food, and also ways to promote function in the brain and to decrease obstructions in the function. So the antioxidants, we will put that in the category of nutrients that help to offset the wear and tear of the brain, to help it to function at peak form for longer and better. And here's a list of the basics for us to incorporate into our diet. And anybody who has a history in the family of Alzheimer's or dementia is well helped by being aware of this and incorporating some of this into your daily diet. So blueberries and berries, I put blueberries there, but all the berries, goji berries, raspberries, strawberries, acai, there's a variety of berries, any of their family. Wild salmon, I'm now putting wild because it's not enough just to put salmon with all the farm-raised salmon available that has the feed that they get and the hormones and antibiotics. Just like with cattle nowadays, it just is not as it used to be. And so wild caught is much better. Celery has compounds to help the brain. Broccoli, cauliflower, same thing. Whole grains, it gives the spunk, the oomph. A whole grain has an imprint of vitality inside of it, in the grain, and it is released when it consumed in that way. Green tea and garbanzo beans. So just keep this in your fridge if you have an interest in better your brain and mind function. And then all the family of good fats, walnuts, avocados, almonds, cashews, the seeds, sunflower seeds, sesame seeds, flax seeds, hemp seeds I didn't put there. They're also great, hemp seeds. So fats is, I think by now all of you should be aware of this, but let's just state it because it's never too much. The idea of low-fat diet and fats are not good for us is passé. Fats are fantastic for us, but some fats, so we have to distinguish good fats, bad fats. Let's use the polarities to classify easily. So there are definitely fats that are not good for us. And now they're just passing a law in the United States that are actually classifying trans fats as any product that wants to use trans fats is going to have to seek a special approval by the Food and Drug Administration because they've bumped it up to the category of actually a harmful substance. So there are bad fats, clearly. But good fats are really necessary, and particularly for brain function, for the renewal of the membranes of the neurons, because the neurons do not divide very fast. So we need to keep those membranes very nice and healthy so that they can transmit the chemical information from neuron to neuron. It's critical, the integrity of the membrane. So all these good fats are really, really, really useful for brain. Supplements, these are the ABC, the basics, okay? Omega-3s, at the very least for maintenance of brain health, 1 gram a day of the active ingredients, which are EPA and DHA. I didn't write those there, but those are the active ingredients in the fish oils or krill oil. Krill is plankton, has very high concentrates, or fish oils, which are the most common ways to extract them. But many of the good fats that we listed a moment ago include omega-3s. Alpha lipoic acid, as an antioxidant, but also very important for brain function. And resveratrol is this extract from grapes, and that's very, very useful. Wha- Then turmeric. Turmeric is just a great, I mean, there's so much good research on turmeric as an anti-inflammatory, as a stimulant of circulation in the brain. It's just a great thing. You can use it as a spice. You can buy capsules with extracted turmeric for a high concentration of it, and just great for brain and for inflammation in general. Vitamin D, we've discussed this in a variety of other classes because it's important in many, many areas, but you definitely want to, we recommend everybody to do a simple lab checkup on your vitamin D. You want to check the 25 hydroxy vitamin D. 25 hydroxy vitamin D is the type that we check. And you want it to be in the range of 50. If it's anywhere between 30 and 50, you want to supplement. And depending, if it's close to 30, then you supplement with at least 4,000 international units per day. If it's close to 50, 40 to 50, just 2,000 is enough. And many people is below 30, in which case you want to do a more proactive supplementation. In some cases, you can supplement in big chunks. You can do a 30,000 or even 50,000 units once a week. I'm more from the school of distributed supplementation rather than like a huge dosage all at once. But you can certainly take 10,000, 15,000 a few times a week and bump up those levels. Okay, vitamin D, very important. And then probiotics, because as we just saw, the state of the gut flora is hugely important for our brain. And so to keep a good profile of friendly bacteria and a low amount contained profile of pathogenic bacteria is going to help us to produce better brain chemicals, okay? More healthy and more happy. And then with herbs, there's not really a lot of proven isolates, but certainly these three have good research. Ginkgo, most of you know it, ginkgo biloba. I put there a recommended dosage per day, and you want to have a good quality extract. I can't emphasize enough the importance of the source. It is not enough to take something. It's as important to see that it's a high quality. And ginseng, there's a lot of varieties of ginseng, Panax ginseng, the Asian kind, also the American ginseng.